any terrain regardless of whether you hit her or not. Like you don't really, at the start, you didn't really know whether that was more powerful or, you know, less powerful than the invis was. I suppose in the hands of a pro though, it would be much more powerful in the sense that you just can't, you know, stop the Brood from being able to just go up and down terrains and you're never able to really kill her.
Yeah, it's a different, it's slightly tweaked, the playstyle, but it's still a very strong hero, and it does look like, it looks like No-Tail is actually going to be the mid. So it's going to be a mid Brood Mother, it looks like, Mike.
You know, I don't mind that. Against the OD, like, I don't feel like the OD has any way to deal with it. And they might even have to force Era to go to another lane. And yeah, Jonathan fan, he comes to the mid lane. It was just going to be such an outmatch, the Brood Mother against the OD. There was no way she was going to be able to stop her. So this will be a much better lane, but at the very least for TFT. And a much harder one for No-Tail from OG. But we'll see what happens. Of course, that overwhelming odds again is going to be the main ability used against the Spiderlings.
Yeah, it really stacks damage up, and Brood Mother tends to spawn a lot of those minions, so it's really just going to be amped up for Unison.
TFT, they are running a tri-lane in the off-lane, and I mean, I've got to admit, I do like this, right? Against Resolution, who just wants to be able to farm calmly, you know, and on the gyro, the last thing you want to do is go for engagements early. The fact that they're going to be able to apply this pressure, and he's never going to feel safe to walk close to get those right clicks. I mean, the gyro doesn't feel like he's going to be able to get any farm in this lane.
Yeah, he's gonna have a bit of a rough time. I do like the skill he got at level 1. Most teams tend to go for Rocket Barrage for early aggression, but he went for the Flak Cannon, so he should be able to last hit a bit better in lane and apply a little bit of pressure on this tri-lane.
See a bot lane as well, Frost. We'll be up against S4. And, well, Jerax will be nearby as well, and they want to kind of try to run that same strategy where they don't really give space to the Lycan to be able to get those core items he needs. This time around, however, I don't think they'll be as lucky with the laning, but we'll see if they can shut down Frost. If they can't, then we know what can happen, but still, it's too early to tell. I think the main one we have to keep an eye on is the mid lane right now, because it's going to be very important with the Brood Mother to be able to get that early start as well. And you really rely on being able to find, you know, really quick tier 1 towers, and tier 2s for that matter. And if you can't do so, then it's almost like it kind of does drop off a bit as a hero.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's kind of like Lycan, except Lycan at least scales a bit better. But Brood Mother definitely wants to get that early momentum going, take some objectives, quite a few objectives actually by the 20-minute mark, and then just causing havoc on the map, committing resources to this hero, buying space for your team. So a lot No-Tail really has to set the tempo here with this hero, and he's not having too bad of a start, but it's not matching up to Jonathan fan right now.
Well, top lane, they will actually go on to Resolution right now. The Melodic was there, the Hansen copping too much damage. Now the Illuminate as well, and it looks like the Witch Doctor will end up dropping. The Astral was onto the Gyro, but the First Blood will go to Jerax, and now Rezo, he might end up dropping, but nice blocks coming up from Jerax. That will save him for the time being, as well as that one that he did have. OG do end up securing that First Blood. And again, you move back to the mid lane right now, and No-Tail's just being so frustrating. He's staying behind the tier 1 and tier 2 and really just creep skipping. He's also microing those Spiderlings quite well, so you can't just use overwhelming odds against them. And although the Legion Commander is, you know, generally good at being able to tank a creep wave, it seems like this tier 1, it's going to be under a lot of pressure very early.
Yeah, it definitely will be, and this is really what, you know, a Brood Mother wants to do. Just be really disruptive early on, and they haven't committed resources to mid yet, and it looks like TFT's actually coping with it fairly fine. But depending on how No-Tail takes it, it could just be a problem later on. We'll see how they respond to it. Right now, it doesn't seem to be too crazy yet.
Yeah, Jonathan Pham is doing a pretty darn good job. Like, he hasn't lost any damage at all on his tower, apart from 16. And, I mean, he's basically hitting all the last hits, right? Like, he's just tanking the creep wave and not losing any HP anyway. up with the web. He's going after Era. Can they find the kill though? I don't think so. He popped too much damage. They're still chasing Era right now. The Astral is there now. The Jewel comes in and the LC, he might just find a kill, and he does. Fly's trying to back off, but he'll be the next target. Jonas is not going to let him go this time. And can he catch up? No, actually, yes he can. Rezo, he's actually in trouble. He tried to TP away, but he got cancelled off. Jonas, he does end up getting the kill onto Fly, and now Rezo will be the next target as well. Jonas, what an absolutely great rotation coming out from this Legion Commander. And if they find Rezo as well, it's just going to be massive. But he will back off, and now Jonas, he might have overextended. He gets lifted back into the tier 1, but he is a bit tanky. He'll just turn around and throw an overwhelming odds out while he can for that added movement speed. And well, a successful duel very early on, and the rotation from Notel was a bit strange. You know, you didn't really expect that coming in, but you also couldn't blame him, right? Like, he had to make something happen, and the mid lane, it just wasn't happening. But then Jonas just rotates and makes something even better happen for his team.
Yeah, it's definitely worthwhile for him. I like that he read Notail's movement quite well. Realized that he kind of disappeared from creep skipping for a bit, so just chases him down and follows him, and they managed to turn that fight.
Well, bot lane, we just saw S4 ends up going down as well, and Frost ends up picking that one up, thanks to the Night Stalker assisting him as well. And I mean, things are going well for TFT. A great start. Notel again though, top lane. He still wants to make something happen here, and he places all the wards on Hanskin. He can't really survive this, and he will end up dropping now. Era, he'll be the next target. Can they take him down though? They've got no more disables. In fact, Fly, where's the lift? He's holding onto it. There's the spiraling. So much damage coming out onto poor Era, and he will end up dropping, and Notel picks up a double for himself. And it looks like rather than going for the mid lane, they'll focus on the top tier 1.
Yeah, I think that's a fair enough trade. What this does is it really enables Resolution to have some more, to get some more from his lane, because he's not been having a good laning phase.
Oh, they found the Jewel again onto Notel, but they can't get the kill quite yet, and he will just run up the terrain. Can he get out of this? It does look like he can, although everyone's following around, and this is one of those things as well with the Brood. You can create a hell of a lot of space using this hero, because he's just so damn hard to kill. And he will end up walking out of there pretty much safely. I think he may have given away a few spiralings to the Legion Commander, but overall he is wasting a fair bit of time.
Yeah, he really is.
They might just find Jonas. In fact, no, he will back off, and still looking for Notel, it looks like. He's just being very frustrating. Do think him out. Do they have the Jewel quite yet? It is a couple seconds away, but again, just walking up that terrain, and he's just going to continue to do this and heal up his HP with those webs, with that added HP regen. I mean, it's quite quick. Era, in fact, ended up moving back to the mid lane instead of the Legion Commander. I don't know if this is what they need to do. In fact, top lane though, Rezo, he's going to be in trouble. Jonas, he wants to find another Jewel for himself. Can they find it though? Rezo, he's trapped by himself. There's the Jewel as well, and this should be an easy kill, and it will be. Meanwhile, mid lane, Era is now in trouble. Notel making the chase, but it looks like Era will be able to walk this one off, although I'm not sure the tier 1 will be able to do the same. And in fact, it will, because Jonas has just returned, and he will just start spamming overwhelming odds. Hanskin, top lane, in a bit of trouble though. He did throw the coconut as well as the Melodic, and well, we do see the Night Stalker making a lot of plays. Pablo still making the chase, and Fly should tick out right now, and he does. I mean, we see Night Stalkers all the time, and they do struggle, but Pablo has been doing a fantastic job. He hasn't done any particular kills for himself, but he has committed 4 assists for his team. So he's doing his job quite well. Meanwhile, again, Notel in trouble, but he will end up TPing out this time around. The Jewel was not there in time from Jonas.
Yeah, Notel's just been very disruptive on this movement. Sure, he hasn't taken objectives just yet. At the same time, though, I mean, you look at TFT, they haven't taken objectives for their liking as well, so both teams haven't managed to find anything on the map yet, but Notel overall has been much more disruptive compared to Lycan. And it's really just the nature of the hero.
No, absolutely is, but on the same token, you know, Frost, he's getting to that point now where he's farming a bit too well. As well as that, I mean, you look to the Legion Commander and Jonas, he's top of the net worth by far. He's 4.9k, in fact 5k now, and he's only seconded by the Lycan. And actually, they're going to go bot lane. S4 is in trouble. Fly will be there with the lift, but I don't think this is enough. S4, he's just going to have to try and tank as much as he can, and well, they will not find anything. Jerax does come in to try and help out. But ultimately, again, this Beastmaster is a sitting duck. And now top lane, they found Rezo with the jewel, and Jonas will find that one by himself. He is now dominating, and his net worth continues to grow, as well as the fact that at 10 minutes in, he's already got 30 stolen damage.
Yeah, that's a really good start for Jonas on this Legion Commander. It's very rare you get a good start as an LC like this, and he's having a good time now. He should be able to build off of this good start and just keep growing bigger. Buy space for the Lightning to get his items going and start to roll down in the mid game, hopefully, for TFT.
I mean, you said it, right? Like, the Brood pick was a bit overconfident. And you look at the network of Jonas right now, and he's 5.7k. And you know, a lot of that came from those Spiderlings. So they did pick this into a direct counter. We will see if they can make something happen with it. S4 bot lane is making a push happen. He does have some help there, but Hanskin does throw out the coconut to try and slow it down. And even now, like with this T1, they are struggling quite a bit to make it work, but they will eventually get the job done. And I believe that would be the first T1 of the game, and it is. Meanwhile, the mid T1 is also extremely low. And, well, No Tail, he's got a lot of Spiderlings. He's just not letting them group up because he doesn't want the LC to just take them all. And he should be able to find himself a T1 tower as well.
Where did Radiant's middle tower
Although that's a lot of gold he just gave away.
Yeah, that's really the issue with Brood Murder. At some point you are kind of, not a gold sink, but more of a gold drain. You kind of leak all that gold back to the opposing side.
Well, you could just see that as well, right? No Tail, he just tried to go for a kill with the double damage, but ended up giving so much gold away. Jonas has got a Blink Dagger very, very early, and he's got the jewel up, and it looks like they're going to go for this. No Tail seems very unaware. Jerax is there, though, with the rest of his team, so maybe this is a bit of a bait coming out, and they will actually roar up Jonas and take him down immediately. Now Hanskin will be the next target. No Tail not going to let this one go either. And with these kind of kills, you find a lot of momentum. You can't give these kills away to the OG draft because they're going to find towers so quickly if you do. In fact, no, hold on a minute. Top lane is where the towers are being taken down. TFT, understanding this, they have a Lycan. Of course, they make that happen themselves. Meanwhile, OG are taking the Roshan. So rather than taking the tier 2, they say Roshan will be taken. Meanwhile, Pablo finds Rezo at the bot lane. And now Fly will be in trouble. Frost is making the chase, and he will end up dropping. He did try to go to the wolf form himself, but of course there is that cast time. And now the tier 2 top will be going down by the side of TFT.
Yeah, it does look like OG's happy enough to trade that T2 for Roche. And they should be taking it quite, fairly fast. But I'm not sure if it's worthwhile in the end. I mean, OG wants to keep map control as much as TFT does, so losing that T2 is fairly significant, I feel, for OG, but looks like they weigh out that the early ages would be more helpful in the short term, and maybe they can build some momentum off of that.
I mean, you look to Resolution right now, John, and I mean, his farm is just, it's really struggling for, you know, for a player like Rizzo, who does generally get farmed quite fast. He's still trying to finish those drums off. And I mean, he's about to finish the recipe and finally get the full item, but it is very slow on his part, but you can't really blame him. Like, he's been ganked up every 2 seconds. So ultimately, the draft is good, but the heroes are not getting online quick enough. And on the side of TFT, well, they are this time. The Necro one is up for Frost, as well as the Helm of Dom, and he will have a Necro 2 very quickly soon. One of those things is as well, you know, you go for a team fight, you've got to keep an eye on where Frost will be. Because he could just be pushing a tier 3 while all that's happening, and he can take them so quickly. It looks like Ero mid lane will be the target, but the Death Ward committed a No Tail. He's copying too much damage. He will end up losing his Aegis. He's got no help around him. S4 finally comes along. There's the NC. They found the OD. Can they get Era? They commit the Roar for it, and they do get the job done. Will the side of TFT go for a fight here. It looks like they just might. Pablo trying to get the Coddle, and he will, but the Death Ward has been stolen. Fly, he's dealing so much damage, but he does cancel it off. Meanwhile, S4 and Notel still chasing. They want the Lycan. Can they find it? The duel is there, though, and the Blade Mail is available on Jonas. He might just find S4. He won't finish the duel off, and S4 making a run, but he won't make it out quite yet. Pablo, meanwhile, trying to back off himself. Notel is so low right now. Here comes the call down, though. Rezo trying to turn this around. Jonas actually cannot find this damn spider, and Pablo's looking as well, but they can't get him. They do blink in. The overwhelming mod does connect, but Notel will end up TPing out successfully, and a very messy team fight. It does go OG's way, and that is more so due to the fact that they just could not find this spider.
Yeah, I mean, Notel did his job quite well. He was really disrupted in that fight. He did pop his Aegis though, but in the end I feel like it was worthwhile enough. In the end, Resolution does get a little bit out of that fight.
Oh, and Rezo has been caught out top lane as well. The duel is just so easy from Jonas right now with that Blade Mail. And I mean, he's got 44 stolen duel. He's got 44 duel damage. Looks like mid lane, Notel will be the next target. Pablo's already there. He tries to man fight this with the ulti, but it's not enough. And S4 comes in, but it's too late. He'll end up going down as well. And that's going to be a tier 1 taken by the side of TFT.
Yeah, it's rather curious. OG is kind of just streaming in one by one now. It almost feels like the coordination in this game just feels a bit off compared to the first game. They've been streaming into fights slowly, maybe a bit out of position as well on some of their cores. I mean, understandably though, Notel is supposed to be disruptive, but some rather curious movements from both sides, and it's being punished right now.
Well, Rezo goes in with the call down, and you saw Jonas trying to find a duel attempt, and now they might turn this around. Yarax is making the chase. The rocket is on the Legion Commander, but she runs very, very quickly. Pablo as well will back off, and I mean, you saw the rotation. OG, they do end up trying to defend the tier 2, but it was unsuccessful, and they don't find any kills to boot. They do end up smoking up though. Looks like the easiest target they will find is Pablo on the side of TFT and try to make a counterplay now. Question is, how do they get into this? Jonas, he finds the call. Jerax gets caught out with the duel, and it will be a very quick kill. And without that Keeper of the Light, it does not seem like OG is willing to team fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's rather unfortunate. Jerax has been having a rough time on this Keeper of the Light. It doesn't look like he even... Yeah, he can't even afford to rush the Aghanim's because his cores are so far behind that delaying that further would just hurt them. So he's just going for regular support items. He has the Force Staff, he's working on the Ewel's, and I feel like that Ags is... It almost felt like when they pecked the Cockle would have been key in the draft, but it's just not playing out.
Well, they're going bot lane right now, and Fly will be the first target, as well as S4, who's copping the full Death Ward channel. He's copped a lot of damage. The Magic might just take him out, and they do get him. Fly as well goes down. That's 2 already gone for the side of OG, as well as the tier 1. And the tier 2, it's not going to last very long at this rate. The Necro 3s are up. So many creeps, so much damage, and this is pretty much an opposite of what we saw from last game. You know, OG, they were the ones pushing this quickly last game, but now at TFT, they're the ones being the aggressors. You look at the top lane though, and Notel is making a bit of a split push, but those finalings aren't going to last very long at this rate. And it's just not looking good. I mean, he's got a Desolator up on the Broodmother, but overall he has not found the momentum he wanted. And he might get caught out by the Legion Commander. In fact, he does. Jonas, will he fight this? He probably could. He's got the Blade Mail up, but he assumes it's probably someone else's round, as well as the lifesteal already being committed from Notel. And not to mention the huge horde of spiders that were just laying in the back, just waiting for him to duel in. So a nice decision not to actually throw out the duel there.
Yeah, definitely so. TFT is just playing really well, as you mentioned. It's almost the exact opposite of the last game. Their coordination is much more on point. They've really maximized the Lycan. They've taken so many objectives off the map. In fact, every single outer tower that OG has is now gone. So the Lycan is definitely getting the work done. Whereas OG right now, I have to say this Broodmother, I'm not sure if it's paying off. It hasn't taken as much objectives as the Lycan, and you definitely want to match that objective progress.
Well, it might not be paying off, and it looks like the side of TFT want to punish it even further. They will smoke up, and they know exactly where No Tail is right now. And this could be another duel for the Legion Commander at this stage.
Not much good.
Jonas just waiting for the perfect time, and they may not see No Tail right. No, they do. The duel is there, and of course, well, with all that damage coming in, there should be a successful one at that, and they commit the death ward just in case. Nice observer ward placed, just scouting him out. The trees did not block that vision. And now this could be a throw. I thought he was really low.
It was stolen by Fly. So it was
my apologies.
allied Astral.
Thank you, John.
No problem, Mike.
Jonas, though, he does have that jewel up and ready to go. Who will they aim for? Pablo given the vision. They will find Fly immediately, and there's the jewel. Although the Yules comes out. Maybe they can't do this damage, but no, they can. The coconut, meanwhile, does connect, and Rezo cops the Sanity's Eclipse, but it's not quite enough. So they still end up holding successfully on the side of OG for now. It's a question of, you know, how much more jewel damage can you give to Jonas before it gets a bit too much to deal with? Or will it just be a matter of, like, that jewel damage doesn't even matter?
It definitely depends.
Well, they're gonna find No Tail again. No jewel available this time around, but they don't really need it. They've silenced him up, and he will end up dropping. And I mean, No Tail's trying to find some farm, but it's not. It feels like it's at that point where it's too late now. Like, he's trying to just finish off that BKB, so maybe he can actually man fight during a team fight, but it's just not coming online fast enough.
Double damage.
Yeah, he's definitely been having a rough time this mid game. I mean, he tried to get work done in the early game, a couple of gambits on the top lane, trying to gank early on. Just didn't pay off, sadly enough, and you know, he's gonna have to play recovery here a bit, but his power peak does tend to taper off in the next 15 minutes or so on this hero. It's just the tendency of the Broodmother. It really doesn't scale too well into the late game, and the power peak is gonna fade off pretty soon for that Broodmother.
They do end up getting the tier 2 bot for the side of OG, and now they're going to try and get this Witch Doctor, and they should be successful, though. S4, does he want to commit the Raw? I mean, he pretty much has to, but Rezo, he says, screw this, I'll throw the Rocket in and chase myself. Rocket Barrage comes in as well. The Rocket should be able to finish him off, and it looks like it will. So Rezo finds himself a nice little kill, although meanwhile, top lane, Pablo being a bit cheeky, trying to harass the side of OG. He will get, you know, essentially sent back. It looks like OG want to make a push of their own right now. They can catch out Frost, and it looks like they will. The Raw is there, the call down, the Illuminate comes in, it's all too much damage! And Frosty has no buyback. This could be the opportunity that the OG side have been waiting for. That being said, though, Era comes in from behind. And where's the help that OG need? It looks like they don't actually have the tools to fight this Rezo. He's just trying to back off. He's got no TP available either, so there's no way to really get out of here unless he can just outrun Pablo. And I don't know if he can. Meanwhile, Jerax is being caught out. He will make a TP. Rezo still running through all this. Jerax does end up backing off, and Rezo still running through all this. The Rocket does end up connecting. And my god, I can't believe he's actually running out of this. Now Pablo has to back off.
Team killing spree.
Bot lane, Era. He does end up catching that S4 though. And I mean, OG, they were very, very split up in that. Like, they got the tier 2. They got the Lycan. But it's almost like they weren't prepared for what was after that. Like, half the heroes just weren't there. And they stuck around a bit too long. They gave their lives away, and now Roshan's being given to the way of TNT.
Yeah, and it's rather curious. They split up in a very odd way. S4 had to run into Era, and I believe that whole chase lasted the entire time. You were watching a different team fight. It was just, for a very long moment, it's just Era chasing S4 for maybe a solid 30 seconds to a minute. So that is a rather entertaining goose chase.
No, it really was. Jerax again, trying to get some wards out right now. We saw he did not go for that Aghanim's rush that we usually do see on the Keeper of the Lights, but at the same time, you question what the point of it all is when you've got a Night Stalker in the game. We did mention in the draft stage where it wasn't going to be that useful because the daytime was always going to mean that they lost that heal. But at this stage, when they need to really just turtle on the side of the Dire, it may just come in handy, right? Like, you just need to be able to spam illuminates constantly.
Yeah, definitely so. It still works well as a counter-pushing tool, and it's really potent. It does a solid amount of damage. I'm not sure what Jarex is queuing up. It looks like he's queuing up the Eagle Song. He's going for
Ethereal Blade. Well,
yeah.
It looks like Rezo has actually found one, but Fly with the quick reactions on the lift. Now the BKB was committed as well from Jonas. And so they do understand the BKB's gone, and he's trapped himself for the time being. So he'll have to sit there and think about what he's done. Or she. Whatever you prefer. Mid lane is being pushed in. The tier 3 should end up dropping. Fortification was committed. Meanwhile, S4 is split pushing the bot lane. So he may be able to force them back unless they're going to keep going for the racks, and it looks like they will. Era, front lines, trying to go after Fly right now. The use is there. Again, S4 still pushing. He will force back the Night Stalker at the lead. And Era will stick around and continue stealing in from the gyrocopter. S4 ends up TPing out successfully. It looks like the Void was not available any longer to be used. And they might go for a counterplay. Heck no, OG do end up backing off. So tier 3 gone, but the Rax is successfully defended. Of course, that will be the harder target for the side of TFT. And if you look at the bot lane, the tier 3 almost ended up dropping thanks to the S4.
Yeah, I mean, Beastmaster pushes fast as well. The top T2 is going to drop as well. It looks like they're going to go for deny. They do take it out, but it's actually starting to be even in terms of map control. TFT does have a slight advantage by taking that T3, so that opens up shrines to be taken. But at the same time, you know, OG's still finding the objectives a bit later, but they've still got it back. So it's not too bad for OG right now. They're definitely behind, but they're not far behind enough that it's worrisome.
Well, I was just about to say, Jerax with the beautiful call. Rezo was so close to getting jeweled right then by Jonas on the LC. And actually, they're going to go straight for Era. They found him. The Astral is there, though, to defend himself for just a bit, but he's trapped. He's surrounded, and he gets roared up and will end up going down. That being said, though, he does have an Aegis, I believe, and he will come back, and now they're going to team fight this. Rezo, he's using BKB, but he's getting quite low, and they have to back out. It's a hard team fight, and Fly looks like he will end up losing his life through all this. The cooldown was committed by Resolution. Fly gets caught out with the jewel. Meanwhile, bot lane S4 will get himself a tier 4 or tier 3 tower, and Jerax will TP out, but Resolution does end up dropping as well. They are trying to essentially rat this Rax down. S4, can he get out? Yes, he probably can. The Void was already committed. The Meteor Hammer not in time. Meanwhile, mid lane, it is being pushed in. Frost wants to be able to make something happen, but immediately you see Jerax is there to defend. Fly ended up buying back for this, and they will not allow this Rax to go down. And so we have ourselves a bit of a classic rat kind of game.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. I mean, at this point, yeah, this is what NoTail needs to do now. Just make use of these team fights to try to find the objective, and he has been doing that quite well along with S4. They can push really fast as a duo. I'm not sure if OG can prolong a fight long enough to keep doing this though.
Well, they found Jerax with the LC, and again Jonas is just on point with these jewels. Without that Keeper of the Light, it's not going to be an easy defense, and it looks like TFT will be able to, at the very least, force a buyback from Jerax. Otherwise, I do feel like this mid-Rax is gone. Jonas just goes straight in by himself. He doesn't have anything to really protect him, apart from the BKB. Meteor Hammer being committed as well from Pablo. Looks like NoTail will try and defend this as well. And it's slowly being ticked down by that Meteor Hammer. Here come the Wolves and the Necro units. The Flak Cannon is committed, but it's not enough. Milirax is just taken down through all this, and I mean, ultimately, they don't have the damage on the gyro to be able to take those creeps down quick enough.
Yeah, I mean, Resolution's really far behind. He doesn't do as much damage as most gyros tend to do at this point. And he has a lot of defensive items coming out. He's had the Lincoln Sphere queued up for a while now, so that won't really help him with damage. It's more of sustain and tankiness. And it's going to be troublesome clearing out these waves without Jerax for sure.
I mean, it's just one of those things, like that Lincoln's feels so important because the LC just continues to chase him down and duel him. Like, both teams being so patient. Who will initiate first? Jerax will actually run in, and now it looks like the Night Stalker will go in from the bot. They have BKB'd up on the Lycan, but they're just going to wait this out, and Frost, the cooldown comes down. He wants to get fly, but he has the wolf form himself, and he will run off. A nice little play from him. The Necro units are chasing, but it looks like OG are just going to be very happy with this if they can get everyone out. S4 is being chased down, but he is pretty tanky. Will they turn this around? OG, they do slow S4 down. He's going to... No, he will throw the axes. They do end up losing their Beastmaster at the least. Does have a buyback, but the tier 3 will be under attack. Now, they do get the duel off as well. And who have they found? It is actually Jerax on the coddle, so there will be no Illuminate coming in, although he does end up buying back. Now the Rocket will chase Frost. Can they find themselves some kind of counter kill? They will end up going for Frost. Well, he won't be able to survive this by himself. He needs a bit of help, and it looks like nobody's willing to help him out. Buyback is available, but he won't really have to use it like OG. I don't feel like they're going to be there in time to force that. But Jerax might just get caught out right now. He will go in with S4. The axes do end up missing. The Meteor Hammer does come in. It's not enough, and it looks like they will at least find Hanskin. But it's just the Witch Doctor. Not the best kill in the world. But still, the kills are starting to rack up for the side of OG, and we sit at a 28 to 15 10k with a 10k net worth lead for TFT. And at 33 minutes, they are still defending relatively well.
Yeah, definitely so. OG has been holding off quite well. They're trying to itemize on no-tail, it looks like. A lot of their farm priority has been going to him, although Resolution has caught up fairly well. Should be close to that Lincoln Sphere himself, and then I feel like he definitely needs a lot more damage, because he can't stop the push by himself with Flash right now, as it is. He needs Jerax by his side to clear all these waves out, and Jerax is just very susceptible to being bursted down fast, so he needs to be a bit more independent, so he needs to build up damage on this Gyrocopter.
Yeah, but am I missing something? Like, why is Jerax getting an Ethereal Blade? Oh, you know what? Never mind. Of course, he's getting it because, you know, when Jonas actually duels somebody, he's just going to Ethereal his teammate, or Jonas for that matter, and they're not going to be able to actually finish the duel off.
Yeah, I suppose that's the most logical reasoning for that Ethereal Blade. It definitely is. And I guess
Fly now he steals the wolf form. Frost is actually chasing and might find Reza, but there's the blinding line. They've got no kills yet. In fact, Era ends up dropping Big Daddy No Tail. He gets Hanskin as well. S4 meanwhile, he's finding a Rax for himself, so he's doing a pretty damn good job. And Jerax, he might lose his life, but there's the Ghost Scepter. And he's just wasting so much time with TFT, and S4, he's done his job. He found the return Rax. And he does actually have a TP though. Oh, never mind. He has the boots of travel. He will be able to get out of there safely. The tier 3 is under attack. There's no buyback from Jerax, so it's a question of how do they defend this from the side of OG. And it looks like the side of OG aren't even interested in that. They're just going to keep pushing with S4. But he does keep going. There is a duel onto Fly right now. Will they find this? It looks like they will. Jonas will end up getting him. Now they go to the tier 4s instead, and with no buyback